Hi, my name is Julieta Diaz and I am a data scientist at TIBCO. Welcome to this Team Studio Enablement video. In this video, I will cover how to handle missing values using the Null Value Replacement operator and the Column Cleanser operator, among others. We are starting from the Word Files tab in a workspace I have previously created, and we will click on the Handling Missing Values workflow to get to the workflow canvas you can see here. One of the steps of the data preparation process involves dealing with the missing data. In this case, we will use the Titanic dataset. As you might already know, this dataset contains information on passengers, their identification, whether they survived the ship or not, the class they boarded, their names, etc. I put a summary statistics operator here, which shows the number of null values that each column of the dataset has. We can see that we have missing values in the columns age, fare, cabin, and embarked. So let's start dealing with the age feature. As you might remember, in previous videos, we extracted the title from the name of the passengers. We used a batch aggregation operator to group the passengers by their title and get the mean age of the group. And finally, we use a join operator to join these two data tables. The result of that process was the table we can see in this view. So, for the rows where there is an empty value in the column age, now we have this new information, the mean age of the passengers with the same title. The following step is to use this to replace the null values. And to do that, we will drag another variable operator into the canvas and connect it to the result of the join operator. Once we go to edit the operator properties, we are going to create a new variable that is going to return the column age if it is not null and mean age otherwise. The syntax for this is coalesce because it returns the first column that is not null. So we will write, we choose the columns, and we will call this new variable age fixed. We choose the data type, and finally we press OK. One more thing we need to specify is the columns to include. In this case, I'm just going to select all of them and then unselect the age and the mean age because we will use the new variable age fixed instead. So, now that we have fixed the missing values in the age column, we will handle the null values from the columns fare and embarked. If you look at the summary statistics output again, we can see that fare only contains one null value and the variable embarked just 2 rows. Something we can do here is to replace the missing values with the most common value of the column. For the fare variable, the most common value is 8.05, which appears 60 times, and for the embarked feature, the most common value is the S port. A total of 914 passengers embarked from this port. So what we are going to do next is to pick up the null value replacement operator, drag it into the canvas, and attach it to the previous step in our workflow. Once we select the Edit Operator properties, we will go to the highlighted yellow button, Replace Null Columns. In this dialog, we have a list of all the columns of our dataset. And on the right, we can add the fixed value that we want to impute. In this case, I'm just putting 8.05 for the fare variable and S for the embarked one. Then we click OK. Finally, let's decide what to do with the null values in the cabin variable. If we go back to the summary statistics, we can see that this column has a total of 1014 null values, which represents more than the 75% of the dataset. So in this case, it's better to drop the column, as this feature will not be helpful. One way to do this is with the column filter operator, where you just need to specify the columns you want to keep. Another way to do this is with the column cleanser operator. This operator applies a set of rules to remove columns, easing the burden of specifying filtering criteria column by column. I will show you exactly how it works, but first we need to connect the operator with the previous one. In the operator properties, we have to select the columns that will be treated as continuous and the ones that will be treated as categorical. This parameter here removes the columns with the percentage of missing value higher than a specified number. The value should be a real number between 0 to 100. By default, the value is set to -1, which means ignoring the filtering condition. In this case, I'm going to put 75 because the missing values of the variable cabin represent approximately 77%. You can also use this operator to filter columns according to the high or low variance. For example, remove the categorical columns with a count of distinct values higher than a specified number, or remove the continuous columns with a coefficient of variation lower than a specified value. In this case, I'm just going to press OK. We will connect another summary statistics operator at the end, and we will run the workflow. Note now how all the columns that had missing values have been changed to 0. Thanks for watching.